Hello and welcome to a new video. This is Molly McCord and I'm sharing with you in this teaching series more about the Twin Flames healing journey, what it's all about, the different topics, questions, and issues that come up along the way, and how to support you as you move through your own healing and ultimately do your own inner work to really become the truest and highest version of yourself. That is what this Twin Flame journey does, is it pushes you to grow, to become more. It asks you to heal on really deep levels. And it's hard, it's challenging, it's exhausting, and it's emotionally difficult. So in this video, I want to talk about the Divine Feminine's role. Because you could be asking, well, what is my purpose with this Twin Flame thing? Why am I doing this? Why am I in this? Because it is so hard and it hurts, and I've been through a lot. I know many Divine Feminines who have been through the ringer with this experience, and they've had to move through some real intense emotions and do a lot of inner work. But please know that it's all for really good reasons, that there are payoffs, there are rewards, there is a purpose to it all. So when we talk about the Divine Feminine's role, it's important to understand the bigger picture, which is where humanity's at right now. The globe and humanity, we go through all these different cycles. And the latest grand cycle of energies has been heavily masculine, patriarchal, ego-based. Since the Industrial Revolution especially, we have been all about work and success and money and status and what that means and how that creates our lives and what we want to achieve. So there's been this external focus on our lives and what we can do in the world. And not that this is bad, but it's all about coming back into balance. And so we are heavily swayed to excessive masculine energies. And because of that, we have to come back to our inner world, our hearts, our feelings, what is sacred, what matters, where we find meaning. It's about trusting our feelings and our emotions and giving those parts of ourselves energy and validation too. Because think about how many people get in the rat race and they're going, and yet they can feel so empty. Well, what we're doing here is bringing back the importance of divine feminine energy, because it's what the globe needs, it's what the collective needs, but it's what we individually need. You work too much, you do too much, you're always on the go, you're stressed out, you get sick, you have diseases, you have dissatisfaction with your life, you're not happy. All of this stems from being out of balance with ourselves. So we come back and we access our own inner reservoir of divine feminine energies that every person on the planet possesses and carries. Now, that doesn't mean they're even interested in accessing it or understanding it, but it's there. It's something that's available to all of us. So in this current cycle, the divine feminine energy is about bringing more love into ourselves, into our relationships, into the collective, and onto the planet. So it's truly about the love. And part of that, a big part of that, has to do with the healing of our own inner wounds, our own childhood healing, emotional wounds, family healing, physical body healing, all of that. All of that is necessary right now. And so the feminine energy is leading this charge, because that is what is needed right now. It's almost like you get too far off on one side of the seesaw. Well, it's the other side of the seesaw that has to exert more energy or effort in order to come into balance. And that is the energy of remembering what this is all about, and that not everything is about the external. It's about the internal, and how you hold love for yourself, how you hold love for others, how you heal yourself, how you can help other people heal. It's remembering how we're all connected spiritually, energetically, and how we can heal the wounds of disconnection that ultimately lead to fear. So the divine feminine energy is coming up and coming out because it needs to be loved, seen, validated, but not in that egoic way. It needs to be acknowledged as a necessary part of what the individuals and collective both need at this time. So the divine feminine energy is ultimately the leader of this change, and it's the leader of the twin flame energy because it is the energy that needs to be activated within the feminine and within the masculine. The divine feminine first activates the energies within herself, and then that allows and gives space for her divine masculine to do the same. So because the divine feminine is the leader, she's the one who goes first, and she goes through the fire first, and she experiences a lot emotionally, spiritually, in all areas of her life, really. Because this journey, this twin flame journey, it really shakes the foundation of your life. It's why you have a professional or career change. It's why you have issues with your family, or you have changes in friendships. It's where you start to go into your spiritual work and your spiritual growth and understand more of who you are. It shakes the core of who you are in order to ultimately shake off anything that is not you, and it's not you because it doesn't resonate with your sense of love or forgiveness or compassion. And so it's a big energy shift, and it can be very lonely at times. The divine feminine can be alone in her energy, in her experience, and understanding who she is, the listening, the surrender, the trust, the not knowing. It's like she is really being immersed into an AP class. AP stands for Advanced Placement. An Advanced Placement class in feminine trust. And she does that so that she can hear. And she can experience firsthand what it means to feel her emotions, to feel her inner world, to basically get cut off from things that don't matter. And so the divine feminine energy is really precious. And yet it doesn't feel that way because you can experience a lot of turmoil, a lot of emotional intensity, exhaustion, depression, your own fears, your deepest wounds, your core wounds. A lot comes up. And the divine feminine has been through so much. Now, I've been on this journey for over 10 years. And you maybe have just started, or you've been doing this a few months or a few years. It doesn't matter, my friend. However and whenever you come to this information is when it's perfect. And it's meant to help you step into and open up to more of who you are and what you're really about. And so the divine feminine energy must be activated in order for this twin flame energy to be activated. And so she has to go through all of this to know more about her own feminine self before she can be connected with her masculine, her divine masculine. So because she's the leader, she often gets the brunt of it, if you will, and I'm getting visuals here. It's like it's so intense, and it's not what you expected at all. It's not what you thought it would be at all. But what is happening is that I'm getting the visual, and it's really quite beautiful, of all of these, I'm going to call them like eggs, hatching all over the planet. And then what's emerging is more healed feminine energy. So picture the feminine in an egg, and she's had to survive in this egg. And we could say that the egg is also the masculine energy that has kept her safe, kept her guarded, kept her in survival mode, and yet that starts to all crack. And as it cracks, she's able to come out in a truer and purer sense of herself that is more from her heart and less from her ego, more from her truth and less from her false ego or her false sense of self. She emerges as more trusting, loving, kind, compassionate, forgiving, all these beautiful qualities that we need right now. And so the divine feminine is needed more than ever. And I have found that those who go through this process, the intensity, the fears, the doubts, all of it, you move through it eventually as long as you continue the inner work and continue feeling powerful in the fact that there is a bigger plan, there's a grander plan. Underneath this video, I have resources for you to check out to support you with that process, because I know that many of you are in different places with this. But please know that it's all for a divine purpose and that you are needed to come out of this egg and to blossom and grow into even more of your own fullness and more of your own truth. And what you then do is when you become this fuller vessel of love for yourself and for others, it then allows the divine masculine to eventually do the same. Now remember, there's always mirroring going on in the twin flame energies. And so once the feminine emerges or becomes more full of herself in that beautiful, lush, loving way, the divine masculine feels that and senses that, and then he senses the invitation to do it himself. And this doesn't mean it's conscious, but it means that there's something going on in his psyche where he's starting to see things differently or see himself differently. It changes the type of relationships he's in or he's connected to as well. He feels this need to crack out of his own shell as well. So the divine feminine goes first. The masculine senses it, picks it up, feels it, and he is invited to do the same. And the divine feminine has to practice self-care because she gets exhausted and she's worn out and she's emotionally just spent. And so it's really important to pace yourself, to do what you need to do, to take care of your energy, to really recharge. It's like the energy isn't linear. Energy is a spiral, but we can feel it as a roller coaster, and we can feel it as the highs and the lows and the up and the downs, but ultimately it's a spiral. And so there are times on the spiral when you feel like you just need a break. And you can do that, and you can take a break and take care of yourself. But it's a reminder to stay open to your heart, to your healing, to your process, and to not go into your ego mind too much, because that's where you came from. Back when you were in that egg, that was your ego mind egg and that shell of protection. But you've emerged and ascended higher than that. It's the awakening to even more. So you can acknowledge the ego mind's messages and fears and everything that comes up. But you understand that it's no longer who you are or what you are. You're so much more. And that's one of the things the divine feminine can struggle with, is going back and forth between that old sense of self and this new way of trusting, this new way of being herself. Ultimately, twin flames are here to be demonstrations of love. Love ambassadors, if you will, to understand that love is bigger than the obstacles, challenges, or barriers that come up in life, and that two people can have a connection that is bigger than one label or one self-definition or one defining characteristic. Love is bigger, and that is what you're here to do, and the divine feminine is leading that because her heart has expanded to basically, I feel like it can hold the globe. When you have a fully awakened heart and that loves everything and can love everyone exactly where they are, well then there's nothing more priceless than that. So the divine feminine is working with a collective of other women, divine feminine energies, that are here to bring in more love, to the planet and to the world. And that involves the challenges and overcoming the ego mind and the fears and the heartaches and everything that we experience in our human world. And to ultimately remember that she is leading this charge for many, and as well as for herself. And so the Divine Feminine's purpose is to keep an open heart, to keep loving, to stay open to what she doesn't know yet, to trust what she doesn't know yet, to surrender, to take care of herself, to acknowledge her ego mind, but to not give in to those messages. And ultimately, she is here to keep loving herself so that she can keep loving the twin flame journey, the twin flame connection, and humanity as we heal and ascend to even higher understandings of love. So the Divine Feminine has a very important role, and it's one to embrace with honor and privilege because it's precious and it's needed. So I hope this has helped you reconnect with this energy within yourself. Please check out my resources below this video, and be sure to look at the next video in this teaching series. I hope it is helping you heal. I hope it is resonating with you and helping you understand the bigger picture of all this. Thank you so much, my friends, and I'll see you in the next video.